Hi guys, I'm Mochi. Welcome to my creative world. Today we are going to talk about building giant Minecraft mobs. So the first thing you're going to want to do to build a giant Minecraft mob is to find a really good reference. Now you're going to want something where you can see the pixels because you need to figure out the dimensions of your chosen mob. So in this case, we've decided to go with a lime green sheep. Now, once you've figured out the dimensions in pixels, it's all about ratios. So we'll start with a ratio of 1 to 1. That means for every pixel, we're putting down one block. Okay? So it is 1 by 1 by 1. So it's 1 across, 1 back, 1 tall. So width, height, and depth, all 1. Okay? That means when we have a pixel, we're putting down a block. And that's it. Now, because of the difference in size between a pixel and a block, you're already going to have a bigger mob. So here we have a sheep head built at a 1 to 1 ratio. So if we want to size it up, all we have to do is use a different ratio. So the next one we're going to look at is a ratio of 2 to 1. So for every pixel, we are going to have 2 by 2 by 2 blocks. So everywhere we have a pixel, we will be using a 2 by 2 by 2 block instead. And that is going to give us this size. Now from there, you just change up the ratio and you can go bigger. Here we have one that is 3 by 3 by 3. And so everywhere we have one pixel, we will be putting a block like this. Okay? So there's our 1 to 1, our 2 to 1, and our 3 to 1. Okay? And you can see that everything stays in proportion as it just gets bigger. So the last one I'm going to show you today is 4 to 1. So here we have 4 by 4 by 4. Okay, so we're going to put one of those everywhere we have a pixel. And there we have our 1 to 1, our 2 to 1, our 3 to 1, and our 4 to 1. So let's take a look at what that looks like when you build the whole sheep. Okay, so here we have a sheep built at a 1 to 1 ratio. So for every pixel, we have one block. And like I said, just doing that much will make it pretty big. But this sheep next to it is built at our 2 to 1 ratio. And that's a much bigger sheep. Now over here, I have built one at the 3 to 1 ratio. So for every pixel, we have a block that is 3 by 3 by 3. So you can see that the sheep all stay in proportion with this method, but they just get bigger. So if you want to build more than one giant mob in your world and you want them all to stay in scale, you want them all to still be the same size relative to one another, well then if you remember which ratio you use and you use the same ratio, they'll all be in scale. So here we have our 1 to 1, our 2 to 1, our 3 to 1, and if we turn this way, our 4 to 1. Now this is a giant sheep. So you can see this is a pretty giant sheep. You could build a whole base in there if you wanted to. So to give you something to compare it to, this is me next to one of the sheep's eyes, and it's pretty big at this ratio. So let's take a look. Okay, and to give you an idea of how big these things are, because sometimes it's hard to tell, Here we are standing next to our 1-to-1 sheep. And here we are standing next to our 2-to-1 sheep. And next to our 3-to-1 sheep. And here we are next to our 4-to-1 sheep. So if you've been watching my videos, you've probably already seen the giant creeper that we built in my other survival server, but I'll put a card up in the corner and a link to that so you guys can check it out if you haven't seen it. But you'll also notice there's a giant skeleton head where we have our skeleton spawner. Now I built the creeper and the skeleton head at the same ratio so that they are still the right sizes for a creeper and a skeleton if they were just, made much bigger. So they're the same size relative to each other. Okay, and in case you're curious, because I find this interesting, there is no other lime wool in this creative world. So to build these Jeffs, it took us 54,887 lime wool. Same goes for terracotta, but that's 13,143. White wool, I don't think I've used anywhere else, 2,532. Brown terracotta, 2018. Well, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it here for today. I hope that helps you out if you're trying to do this sort of thing. I hope you found it interesting, even if you're not. And I hope you guys all had fun. I know I did. And I'll see you next time.